start in the courts. A shock announcement in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial this afternoon. Defence lawyer Malesela Teffo has withdrawn from the trial. He has been representing 4 of the 5 accused. He says he is being harassed by the police and promised money to leave the trial. Football star Senzo Meyiwa was gunned down at his girlfriend's family home in Vosloorus in October 2014. Our reporter Slindela Mazakana has been in court today and joins us now. Slee, you couldn't have predicted this one. Really high drama, leaving so many questions about where to now. Talk to us about how Teffo dropped this bombshell.
I don't think anyone could have predicted this one. Nobody expected. I mean, I wish I could have recorded the gasps from the gallery when Advocate Teffo dropped that bombshell just moments ago, telling us that, you know what, he's officially withdrawing his services and that he can no longer take what he's called harassment in this particular matter. I mean, when we started the day, we were really looking at finalizing some dates, possibly listening to arguments around what Teffo had brought to the NDPP, the letter he has written to have charges dropped against his now former clients. And at some point then after the lunch adjournment, just before the lunch adjournment rather, Teffo raised an issue around accused number 3's safety at the Khosumampuro prison. When we returned from the lunch break, we actually had accused number 3 then taking to the stand to testify about his conditions in prison. And then Judge Malesela then, after listening to accused number 3, decided that he cannot even rule on this particular issue, saying that it needs to be taken up with correctional services. That's the moment then we heard Advocate Teffo saying, okay, since you're not going to rule on this matter or entertain this particular application, I'm withdrawing my services. Let's take a listen.
As the counsel of accused number 1 to 4, I hereby inform the Honorable Court I'm withdrawing as the counsel of accused 1 to 4. I will no longer be able to proceed in this court based on the harassment that I'm receiving from the state and from the court. The accused have been consulted and it has been agreed upon that based on what is happening to me, because I took it upon myself that I will represent them after I was approached, myself and my attorney, by their families as well as the Meyiwa family.
You managed to doorstop Teffo after he left court. He's making some really serious allegations directed towards the state and to the court. Did he give you more details when you doorstopped him?
Yeah, that's what the reasons why I doorstopped him, Sally, because I thought he was making some serious allegations against not only the court, but the president himself, saying that a plan was hatched in his office to ensure that this trial is derailed, to ensure that he is not part and parcel of this trial, because Teffo is alleging that there is a plan to have these men in the dock right now take the fall for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, and that he, as Advocate Teffo, defending the accused, was derailing this plan. And this was, of course, resulting in what we know now. He says to be threats against his life. And so I also asked him, but then you've also been complaining that, the trial isn't moving at a fast enough pace. What you're doing right now is actually going to delay the process much further. And he said that is out of his hands. What he needs to focus on now, as watch brief for the Meyiwa family, is to pursue DOCA 375 and see whether it can come to any finality. DOCA 375, if I remind our viewers, points to Kelly Kumalo and those who were in the house as being the ones who have a case to answer to. Let's take a listen.
I'm a problem.
I'm disturbing their plan that they've planned about these guys. I've been promised the money to get out of this. It's not me. So at the end of the day, the society must know what is happening in this.
But Advocate Teffo, how does you withdrawing from the case help your clients?
Like I said, I told her that I've consulted with my client. They know, they've seen, they've advised me as well. They've agreed that I must get out.
So what happens to your application to the NDPP?
It's still there. My attorney is there. It's still for them. It's not for me. That it was for them. It was not for me. I'm out. It's still effective for them. Yeah. So if Shamila Patoy agree with the reasons, then good for them. Yes. I'm no more featuring there.
This is a completely bizarre story. What reaction have you been able to get to the move that he's made today? And have you been able to find out anything more about what this means for the 4 suspects that he was representing?
I think it's going to be interesting to hear from legal experts, Sally, in terms of what the way forward is going to be. I mean, we're all really asking ourselves, what does this actually mean for the trial, which is supposed to resume in September for about 2 weeks. We know that now that the matter has been provisionally postponed to the 2nd of August, and this is, of course, to find out whether accused 1 to 4 would have been able to secure legal representation by then. After that, we're going to have to see that new legal team for accused 1 to 4 then having to actually peruse and have time to look through the court transcripts of what's happened in the trial so far, the 2 dockets themselves. So whether this trial will actually resume officially with state witnesses being called in September still remains to be seen at this point. But it's certainly a plot twist in terms of how this trial is unfolding, and it's been nothing short of since the beginning of this trial.
Has Advocate Teffo indicated whether he's going to lay a formal complaint? He's making extremely serious allegations, and we saw also, even today, between him and the judge, there was a fair amount of tension, and the judge sort of just exasperated at times due to his interjections, his contradictions around the judge when he's trying to control the court. But has there been any indication from Teffo on whether he's actually going to lay a formal complaint around this issue?
I think we'll see whether he will be doing that within the next couple of days. I asked him exactly what the plans are now moving forward, and he says that he'll be holding a press conference within the next 8 days to give us a better idea as to what the plans are going to be. I mean, he's saying that he's now dedicating his time to being watch brief for the Meyiwa family in connection with docket 375. He said that this is where he wants to focus his energy to either ensure that those in those dockets are prosecuted, or getting that null prosecute certificate from the NPA, and possibly maybe taking the matter forward himself. But at this point, it's not very clear. He was in a hurry to leave court. We did catch him on his way to his car, so we didn't have a lot of time with him, but he has promised that within the next 8 days he'll be giving us a better idea as to what he plans to do, but also providing evidence against the accusations he's been making, not only against the courts, but the president, as well as other role players such as the police minister.
Thank you so much for that update. That's our reporter at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, Slindele Masikane.